Don't skip this. Seriously, something important is waiting for you here. Welcome to the channel.
Chosen One, pause for a moment. This message is not for everyone. If you do not walk the divine path, if you are not committed to God, if you are here only out of curiosity, leave now. This message is guarded by spiritual law. Only those who are truly chosen will feel pulled to stay. And if you are still here, understand this clearly. You were meant to hear this, and you were meant to hear it. Chosen One, I am speaking directly to you, not to the crowd, not to the world, to you. This revelation is important, and it will change the way you understand your body, your spirit, and your mission. Many of you have been confused, conflicted, or silently struggling, thinking something was wrong with you. Nothing is wrong. You were simply never taught the truth. This message reached you at the exact right time. Not early, not late. Divine timing does not miss. Stay with me until the end, because what you are about to hear will connect dots you have carried for years but could never explain. Before we go deeper, let me know you are present. Comment only one number that resonates with you right now. 777333 or 444. Choose one and only one. If this channel speaks to your spirit, subscribe now, tap the bell icon, and share this message with another chosen one. What you are about to hear is sacred, practical, and necessary for your path forward. Why this topic is spiritually forbidden to discuss. Chosen One, understand this first. The reason this topic makes people uncomfortable is not because it is sinful, but because it is powerful. Anything that holds power over the human mind, body, and spirit has always been controlled, distorted, or silenced. Sexual truth is one of those forces. Religion, society, and false spirituality fear it because when a person understands their sexual energy correctly, they become harder to control. For centuries, religion has spoken about the soul while ignoring the body. Society has sold pleasure without wisdom. False spirituality has promoted denial as holiness. None of these paths teach balance. They teach extremes, and extremes are easy to manipulate. When sex is labeled dirty, people feel shame. When sex is marketed without consciousness, people fall into addiction. Both outcomes weaken the individual. Both outcomes disconnect the chosen one from their true power. Sex was weaponized through shame first. You were taught to feel guilty for natural urges, to disconnect from your body, to fear your own energy. Shame fractures the spirit. A shamed person doubts themselves, suppresses truth, and seeks approval. That is not how a divine vessel lives. Shame was never meant to guide you. It was meant to control you. Then came suppression. Suppression was sold as discipline, holiness, and spiritual maturity. But suppression does not purify energy. It traps it. Suppressed energy does not disappear. It stagnates. And stagnation leads to confusion, frustration, emotional imbalance, and spiritual exhaustion. Many chosen ones have mistaken this exhaustion for sacrifice, thinking God was pleased with their suffering. God does not require imbalance to prove devotion. On the opposite extreme, society pushed addiction. Pleasure without intention, release without awareness, constant stimulation without grounding. This also drains the soul. Addiction scatters energy, weakens focus, and disconnects the spirit from purpose. Whether through suppression or indulgence, the result is the same. The vessel becomes unstable. Chosen ones were never meant to live in extremes. You are here to restore balance. That is why you feel uncomfortable with rigid rules and chaotic freedom at the same time. Your spirit rejects both. Balance is not popular because it cannot be mass-produced. Balance requires awareness. Balance requires responsibility. Balance requires wisdom. Silence around sex weakens divine vessels. When something is not discussed, it is not understood. When it is not understood, it is misused. And when it is misused, it becomes destructive. Many chosen ones walk around spiritually gifted but physically disconnected, spiritually aware but bodily tense, This disconnection dulls intuition and clouds clarity. A divided vessel cannot carry divine power efficiently. False spirituality tells you that ignoring the body makes you closer to God. That is a lie. Your body is not an obstacle. It is an instrument. God does not dwell only in your thoughts. God moves through your breath, your nervous system, your presence, and your vitality. When the body is neglected or shamed, the flow of divine energy becomes restricted. Let this be clear now so there is no confusion later. This message is not lust-driven. It is alignment-driven. Lust seeks escape. Alignment seeks harmony. Lust consumes energy. Alignment circulates it. Lust pulls you away from yourself. Alignment brings you fully into your body and your mission. This is not about pleasure. This is about power, clarity, and mission. Pleasure is a side effect, not the goal. When the focus is only pleasure, energy leaks. When the focus is alignment, energy strengthens. That strength shows up as confidence, groundedness, emotional stability, and spiritual stamina. These qualities are necessary for those carrying divine assignments. Chosen one, the reason you were never taught this is because balanced people are difficult to control. A grounded person does not panic easily. A clear person does not chase illusions. A regulated nervous system does not fall for fear-based programming. You are not meant to be fragile. You are meant to be stable. This section matters because it removes guilt. It removes confusion. It dismantles false teachings at the root. From this point forward, you must stop judging yourself through inherited beliefs that were never designed for your level of awareness. You are not here to reject the body or worship it. You are here to understand it, honor it, and use it wisely. Once this foundation is set, everything else will make sense. Sexual energy as divine life force. Chosen one, you must understand this truth deeply because without it, everything else becomes distorted. Sexual energy is not a craving. It is not an urge to be resisted or indulged blindly. Sexual energy is life force itself. It is the same creative current that brings ideas into form, that moves vision into action, that allows spirit to inhabit flesh. It is God-breathed vitality flowing through the body. Before words, before logic, before belief systems, creation moved through energy. Sexual energy is part of that original movement. It is the force that creates, renews, and sustains life. That is why it feels powerful. That is why it cannot be ignored without consequence. And that is why misunderstanding it causes so much confusion among the chosen. When sexual energy is respected, it becomes creative force. Creativity does not only mean art or music. Creativity is the ability to generate solutions, to speak truth clearly, to build, to lead, to inspire. Many chosen ones notice that when their sexual energy is blocked or stagnant, their creativity dries up. Words feel heavy. Vision feels distant. Motivation fades. This is not coincidence. Creativity and sexual energy are expressions of the same life current. Sexual energy also fuels spiritual stamina. The divine path is not light work. It requires endurance, presence, and resilience. When this energy flows freely and consciously, the chosen one can hold spiritual weight without collapsing. When it is suppressed or leaking unconsciously, burnout arrives quickly. Many chosen ones are spiritually gifted but exhausted, not because their mission is too heavy, but because their energy is not circulating properly. Emotional regulation is another expression of this force. Sexual energy, when aligned, calms the inner waters. It stabilizes mood, softens irritability, and reduces internal pressure. When this energy stagnates, emotions begin to swing. Anger appears without cause. Sadness lingers. Anxiety tightens the chest. The body is signaling imbalance. Not sin, not failure. Imbalance. Physical grounding is where many chosen ones struggle the most. You live in higher awareness. Your mind travels easily. Your spirit reaches far. But the body must remain present. Sexual energy anchors you here. It brings you into the now. It roots spiritual insight into flesh and bone. Without grounding, a chosen one can feel disconnected, floaty, unmotivated. or detached from daily life. That detachment is not enlightenment, it is imbalance. This is why many chosen ones feel heavier when sexually stagnant. The heaviness is not guilt, it is congestion. Energy that is meant to move is sitting still. When energy does not circulate, it becomes dense. That density shows up as lethargy, mental fog, emotional dullness, and physical tension. You may still pray, you may still meditate, but something feels blocked. Something feels incomplete. Now hear this carefully. There is a vast difference between conscious sexual expression and unconscious lust. Lust is restless. It seeks escape. It demands more and more while giving less and less. Lust pulls attention outward and fragments presence. It leaves the body tired and the mind scattered. That is not sacred energy moving. That is energy leaking. Conscious sexual expression is entirely different. It is slow, present, respectful, and intentional. It does not rush. It does not consume. It circulates. Conscious expression keeps awareness inside the body. It strengthens connection instead of draining it. Whether shared with another or experienced within oneself, consciousness is what determines whether energy is lost or renewed. Chosen ones are especially sensitive to this distinction. When you engage unconsciously, you feel it immediately afterward. When you engage consciously, you feel clearer, calmer, and more grounded. This is your discernment speaking through the body. Ignore it and confusion grows. Listen to it and alignment strengthens. Regular, aligned sexual expression stabilizes the nervous system. The nervous system is the bridge between spirit and matter. When it is regulated, intuition sharpens. Decision-making improves. Emotional reactions soften. When it is dysregulated, everything feels overwhelming. Many chosen ones live with heightened sensitivity. Without proper regulation, this sensitivity turns into anxiety or withdrawal. Sexual energy, when honored, helps the nervous system release tension and return to balance. It also grounds spiritual downloads. Many of you receive insight, visions, messages, or deep understanding. But without grounding, these downloads remain abstract. They feel inspiring but unusable. Sexual energy brings these insights down into action. It allows you to embody what you know instead of just thinking about it. Embodiment is what turns wisdom into leadership. Burnout is common among chosen ones because many believe rest is enough. Rest is necessary, but circulation is equally important. Energy must move. Sexual energy is one of the primary ways the body renews itself. When it is ignored or feared, isolation increases. You pull away from connection. You become self-contained to the point of loneliness. That loneliness is not spiritual solitude, it is unmet energetic need. Isolation dulls the spirit over time, not immediately, but slowly. The fire does not go out, it dims. Regular, aligned sexual expression reconnects you to life. It reminds the body that it is alive, safe, and supported. From that place, spiritual work becomes sustainable. This does not mean excess. It does not mean obsession. It means listening. It means honoring rhythm. It means recognizing that the body has wisdom equal to the mind. God did not design you to be fragmented. Spirit, mind, and body were meant to move together. Chosen one, sexual energy is not beneath you. It is not a distraction from God. It is one of the ways God moves through you. When you reject it, you reject part of your own vitality. When you worship it, you lose balance. When you understand it, you become whole. This understanding is not common because it requires responsibility. It requires presence. It requires self-honesty. But you were never meant to follow the crowd. You were meant to carry truth with maturity. As we move forward, remember this foundation. Sexual energy is not the enemy. Misuse is. Suppression is. Ignorance is. Alignment restores flow. And flow is what allows a chosen one to walk their path without losing themselves along the way. What happens when the chosen one suppresses sex? Chosen one, this part requires honesty, not fear. Suppression does not make you evil, weak, or disqualified. It makes you tired. And many of you have been tired for a long time without knowing why. You assumed it was the weight of the mission. You assumed it was spiritual warfare. You assumed it was sacrifice. In truth, much of it is imbalance. When sexual energy is suppressed, the first sign is emotional imbalance. Emotions begin to surface without clear reason. Irritability appears. Sensitivity increases. Small things feel heavy. You may feel guilty for feeling this way, thinking you should be above it, but the body is not rebelling against you. It is signaling congestion. Energy that is meant to move is being held back, and pressure always looks for release. Spiritual fatigue follows closely. Not the healthy tiredness that comes after meaningful work, but a deep exhaustion that rest does not fix. You pray, yet feel dry. You meditate, yet feel distant. Your spirit still believes, but your body struggles to keep up. This fatigue is often misinterpreted as a test from God. In reality, it is the cost of denying a natural flow that was designed to sustain you. Many chosen ones experience increased anger or complete numbness. Some feel constantly irritated, snapping internally while remaining outwardly calm. Others feel nothing at all. No fire, no joy, no desire. Both states come from the same root. Suppressed energy turns inward and distorts. It either burns too hot or goes cold. Neither state is alignment. Isolation often follows, and this is where things become dangerous. Isolation disguises itself as holiness. You tell yourself you are withdrawing to stay pure, focused, or disciplined. But slowly, connection fades. You stop feeling close to others. You stop feeling seen. You stop feeling alive. True holiness does not disconnect you from life. It deepens your presence within it. One of the most subtle traps is misinterpreting suppression as discipline. Discipline is conscious choice guided by wisdom. Suppression is fear disguised as control. Discipline brings clarity and peace. Suppression brings tension and rigidity. Many chosen ones pride themselves on restraint, believing it proves strength. But true strength is balance, not denial. This is why so many of you feel disconnected, not from God, but from yourselves. You move through days on autopilot. Purpose feels distant. Passion feels muted. Motivation fades. You still know who you are, but you do not feel it in your body. The fire is there, but it cannot breathe. The heaviness in your body is not imagined. Suppressed energy becomes dense. Shoulders tighten. Chest feels heavy. Breath becomes shallow. The body carries what the mind refuses to acknowledge. You may eat well, sleep enough, and still feel weighed down. That weight is uncirculated life force. Energetic congestion does not stay isolated. It spreads. When energy is blocked in one area, the entire system compensates. Mental fog appears. Focus weakens. Decisions feel harder than they should. You may question your clarity, wondering why your intuition feels quieter. It is not gone. It is crowded. Suppression also opens the door to spiritual pride traps. This is one of the most dangerous outcomes because it feels righteous. You begin to measure yourself against others. You feel morally superior for resisting what you label as weakness. But pride is not alignment. Pride separates you from humility, and humility is where wisdom flows. Spiritual pride hardens the heart. It closes curiosity. It prevents learning. A chosen one caught in this trap stops growing while believing they are advanced. This stagnation is often mistaken for stability, but stagnation always decays eventually. God does not reward suppression. God responds to truth. When you deny part of yourself, you cannot fully receive. The divine moves through honesty, not performance. You were not designed to conquer your body. You were designed to listen to it. Let me speak to you gently now, because this matters. Many of you were taught that suffering proves devotion, that discomfort equals growth, that denial earns favor. This teaching has harmed more chosen ones than it has helped. Growth feels challenging, yes, but it also feels alive. Suppression feels dead. If you recognize yourself here, do not judge yourself. Awareness is correction. Recognition is the beginning of balance. Nothing needs to be forced. Nothing needs to be rushed. Understanding comes first. If this section described your inner experience, comment 1 number now to mark awareness. Comment only 999. Nothing else. This is not for me. It is for you. Chosen One, your body has been patient with you. It has carried what you ignored. It has adapted where it should have flowed. The symptoms you experience are not punishment. They are guidance. They are invitations back into wholeness. Correction does not mean indulgence. It means circulation. It means wisdom. It means releasing fear around something that was never meant to enslave you. When energy flows properly, discipline becomes natural. Balance replaces effort. Peace replaces tension. You are not failing your mission by acknowledging this truth. You are preparing your vessel to carry it longer, stronger, and with clarity. This understanding is not meant to shame you. It is meant to free you. Regular sex versus addiction, the line chosen ones must walk. Chosen One, balance is your responsibility, not avoidance, not indulgence, balance. This is where many become confused because most were only ever shown two paths. One path says deny yourself completely in order to be pure, disciplined, or spiritual. The other path says satisfy every desire in order to be free, expressive, or authentic. Neither path is wisdom. Both are reactions, not understanding. Wisdom lives in the middle, and the middle is not passive. The middle requires awareness, honesty, and maturity. It requires you to be present with yourself instead of following rules or impulses blindly. There is a clear and undeniable difference between sacred regularity and compulsion, and the chosen one must learn to feel this difference rather than debate it mentally. Sacred regularity is rhythmic. It has a natural rise and fall. It listens to the body instead of dominating it. It responds to genuine need rather than manufactured urgency. It does not demand expression on command. It does not rush toward release. It does not override intuition or inner signals. Compulsion, on the other hand, is restless and impatient. It seeks relief, not alignment. It ignores warning signs. It escalates over time. It leaves the body emptier than before, even if there was momentary satisfaction. The chosen one must learn to recognize this difference without lying to themselves, because self-deception is where imbalance begins. Sacred regularity strengthens you from the inside out. After aligned expression, you feel more present in your body. Your breath feels deeper. Your mind feels clearer. Your emotions feel steadier. There is a sense of completion rather than craving. Compulsion does the opposite. After compulsive behavior, you often feel scattered, foggy, dissatisfied, or strangely hollow. For chosen ones, this feedback is immediate. Your sensitivity is higher by design. What others may tolerate unconsciously for years, you feel within days, sometimes within hours. This is not weakness. It is discernment built into your system so that you cannot remain misaligned for long without noticing. Chosen ones are more sensitive to imbalance because your nervous systems are finely tuned. You process life deeply. You register emotional and energetic shifts quickly. This is why extremes affect you faster than others. Suppression creates tension in your system quickly. Addiction creates depletion quickly. You cannot live disconnected from your body and expect your spirit to remain sharp, clear, and resilient. The vessel that carries your awareness must be cared for with precision, not negligence, and not obsession. Intention is what changes the energy of sex more than anything else. The act itself is neutral. It does not carry inherent virtue or corruption. What you bring into it determines what it becomes. When intention is escape, the energy leaks. When intention is validation, the energy fragments. When intention is distraction, the energy dissipates. But when intention is presence, the energy circulates. Presence transforms a physical act into a grounding experience. Absence turns the same act into consumption. This is why the same behavior can strengthen one person and weaken another. Presence means you are fully in your body. Your breath is steady rather than shallow. Your awareness is here rather than drifting elsewhere. You are not chasing a peak or forcing a feeling. You are allowing sensation to unfold naturally. This presence regulates the nervous system instead of overstimulating it. It brings the body back into balance. It leaves you calmer, not agitated, more centered, not depleted, stronger, not weaker. Respect is essential, and it must begin with yourself. If you do not respect your own energy, no external rule, teaching, or moral framework will protect you. Respect means you do not force yourself into situations that feel wrong just to satisfy an urge. It also means you do not shame yourself for natural desire or sensation. Respect listens before it acts. It pauses long enough to feel whether something will nourish or drain you. Respect is not harsh. It is attentive. Embodiment is the result of presence and respect combined. An embodied chosen one feels at home in their body. They are not fighting it. They are not dissociating from it. They are not ruled by it. They live inside it consciously. From this place, sexual energy becomes stabilizing instead of destabilizing. It supports clarity rather than chaos. It strengthens rather than scatters. Moderation is often misunderstood, especially by those who have only known extremes. Many believe moderation means holding back constantly, always restraining, always denying. That is not moderation. That is low-level suppression wearing a respectable mask. True moderation means appropriate expression at appropriate times. It means knowing when to engage and when to rest. It means trusting rhythm instead of enforcing rigid rules. Rhythm adjusts naturally as life changes. Rules do not. Moderation does not numb desire. It refines it. It keeps energy clean, usable, and responsive. Repression makes desire distorted and reactive. Indulgence makes it chaotic and draining. Moderation makes it functional. This is why moderation often feels boring to those addicted to intensity, but deeply liberating to those seeking peace, stability, and clarity. Chosen ones are not monks. This must be stated clearly and without apology. You were not designed to retreat from life as a default. You were designed to engage life consciously. Monastic paths exist for those genuinely called to them, but most chosen ones are called to walk among people, to build, to lead, to speak, and to create. That kind of life requires embodied energy, not denial of the body. You are vessels. A vessel must be maintained. If a vessel is cracked through excess, it leaks. If a vessel is dried out through neglect, it becomes brittle. Both states limit how much can flow through you. Balance keeps the vessel strong, flexible, and capable of carrying weight without breaking. Addiction is not defined by frequency alone. This is an important distinction. Addiction is defined by loss of choice. If you feel compelled, restless, or unable to pause without discomfort, something is off. Sacred regularity always includes choice. You can say yes or no without distress. Your peace does not depend on immediate gratification. When peace becomes dependent on behavior, alignment has been lost. The chosen one must be brutally honest here, but not judgmental. Honest. Ask yourself how you feel afterward. Ask yourself whether your clarity increases or decreases. Ask yourself whether your body feels more settled or more agitated. These answers are more reliable than moral arguments. The body does not lie. The mind often does, especially when it is trying to protect an identity. Many confuse discipline with rigidity. Discipline is fluid. It adapts. It responds to reality and context. Rigidity breaks under pressure. Balance requires flexibility, not control. Control comes from fear. Balance comes from understanding. Fear tightens. Understanding relaxes. You do not need to fear desire. You need to understand it. Desire is energy asking to move. Wisdom decides how and when. When you refuse to decide consciously, impulse decides for you. That is how compulsion grows quietly over time, not through one dramatic failure, but through repeated unconscious choices. Chosen one, your path requires maturity. Maturity is not extreme. It is stable. It does not seek approval. It does not need to prove purity or freedom. It does not perform for anyone. It simply moves in truth, guided by awareness rather than fear or impulse. This line between regularity and addiction is not crossed in one step. It is crossed gradually through small moments of unconsciousness. Awareness keeps you on the path. Presence keeps you steady. Respect keeps you aligned. None of these require perfection. They require attention. You were not designed to be at war with yourself. You were designed to master balance. And balance, once learned, does not feel heavy or restrictive. It becomes natural. It becomes effortless. It becomes the ground you stand on as you move forward with clarity, strength, and peace. EXMISSIONANDSPIRITUALPOER. Chosen One, this is where everything begins to connect. Your mission is not separate from your body. Your calling is not carried only by belief or intention. It is carried by presence, stamina, clarity, and courage. Sexual energy, when aligned, strengthens all of these. That is why it matters. Confidence is not something you force. It is something that emerges when your energy is circulating properly. Many chosen ones mistake confidence for personality or charisma. True confidence is nervous system stability. It is the quiet certainty that comes from being at home in your body. Aligned sexual energy stabilizes the lower centers of the body, which creates a sense of grounding and safety. From that safety, confidence rises naturally. You do not need to convince anyone, you simply stand. Your voice is directly affected by this energy, not just the sound, but the authority behind it. A blocked or depleted system produces hesitation. Words feel trapped in the chest. Expression becomes cautious. When sexual energy flows in balance, the throat opens. Speech becomes clear. Truth comes out without force. This is why some of you know what to say, but struggle to say it. The issue is not courage, it is circulation. Leadership presence is not dominance, it is coherence. People feel it before they understand it. When your body, mind, and spirit are aligned, others sense stability. They trust it. Aligned sexual energy contributes to this coherence by keeping the system regulated. You do not overreact. You do not collapse under pressure. You remain centered. That is leadership. Many chosen ones lose momentum during long sexual droughts and blame external circumstances. They think they have lost favor, direction, or purpose. In reality, the vessel is under-resourced. Energy that supports drive and initiative has stagnated. Motivation is not purely mental, it is embodied. When the body feels heavy or disconnected, forward movement feels unnatural. This loss of momentum often shows up as procrastination, doubt, or withdrawal. You still care about your mission, but the fire feels distant. You try to push through with discipline alone. That works temporarily, but not sustainably. Sexual energy is one of the fuels that keeps momentum alive. Without it, movement becomes effort instead of flow. Sexual energy also fuels truth-telling. Speaking truth requires courage, but courage requires grounding. When you are not grounded, you soften your words, avoid conflict, or stay silent to preserve comfort. When energy flows properly, you can stand in truth without aggression or fear. Your words land because they come from alignment, not reaction. Carrying light is not poetic language. It is energetic reality. Light requires capacity. A weak vessel cannot carry much without strain. Sexual energy strengthens the container. It increases tolerance for intensity. It allows you to remain open without burning out. Many chosen ones shut down not because they lack faith, but because their systems are overwhelmed. Standing alone is part of your path. There will be moments when no one understands you, supports you, or agrees with you. In those moments, internal stability matters more than external validation. Sexual energy, when balanced, creates inner solidity. You feel less dependent on approval. You can withstand isolation without losing yourself. Balance in the body allows clarity in the spirit. This is not metaphor. When the body is tense, suppressed, or depleted, spiritual perception becomes distorted. You may misinterpret signals. You may confuse fear with intuition. You may mistake exhaustion for discernment. A regulated body clears the channel. Messages become cleaner. Insight becomes actionable. Many chosen ones chase clarity through fasting, isolation, or constant contemplation while ignoring bodily needs. This creates imbalance. The spirit speaks clearly when the body is calm and supported. Sexual energy contributes to that calm by releasing tension and restoring rhythm. Sex is not a distraction from God. Distraction comes from unconsciousness. Anything done without presence becomes noise. Anything done with presence becomes prayer. This includes sexuality. When approached with awareness and respect, sexual expression brings you deeper into embodiment. Embodiment is not separation from God, it is participation in creation. Think of sexual energy as maintenance for the vessel. A mission-driven life puts strain on the system. Emotional labor, spiritual responsibility, and constant awareness require renewal. Ignoring renewal leads to breakdown. Maintenance is not indulgence, it is stewardship. God does not ask you to neglect the instrument through which the mission flows. A neglected instrument produces distorted sound. A cared-for instrument produces clarity. This is practical wisdom, not rebellion. Chosen one, your power is not meant to be volatile. It is meant to be steady. Steady power changes lives. Volatile power burns out. Sexual energy, when aligned, contributes to steadiness. It smooths sharp edges. It grounds intensity. It allows you to be powerful without being destructive. This is why your path feels different from others. What works for them may not work for you. Your sensitivity requires precision. Your awareness demands balance. Your calling requires longevity. You are not here for a short sprint. You are here for sustained impact. That requires energy management, not denial. It requires wisdom, not extremes. When you understand this, guilt dissolves. Confusion fades. You stop fighting yourself and start working with your design. Strength increases without force. Authority settles into your presence. Chosen one, your sexuality is not separate from your spirituality. It is one of the ways spirit anchors into matter. When honored properly, it does not pull you away from your mission. It supports it. This is not permission to indulge. It is instruction to mature. Maturity knows how to use power without abusing it. And you were trusted with power for a reason. Your mission needs you whole. Your voice needs your body. Your light needs a stable vessel. Alignment makes that possible. This is how sexuality becomes service. Not through denial, not through obsession, through balance, awareness, and responsibility. And when this balance is restored, you will notice something quietly profound. You will stop trying to be powerful. You will simply be it. Practical spiritual guidance for the chosen one. Chosen one, wisdom is always practical. Truth that cannot be lived gently becomes another burden. So let us bring this understanding down into daily life, without rigidity, without rules that suffocate the spirit. The divine does not operate through formulas. It operates through awareness. Frequency is personal. There is no sacred number, no universal schedule, no external authority that can tell you how often is right for you. Your body is not a machine, it is a living instrument. Some seasons require more grounding, some require rest, some require renewal through connection. What matters is not how often, but how aligned you feel afterward. Alignment is the measure, not frequency. Listening to the body is not weakness, it is intelligence. The body speaks in sensation, tension, ease, heaviness, and lightness. When you ignore these signals, you live disconnected. When you listen, you live guided. The chosen one was never meant to override the body in the name of spirituality. The body is one of the ways God communicates with you. Peace is one of the clearest indicators of alignment. After conscious, aligned sexual expression, there is peace. Not excitement that crashes, not guilt that creeps in, but a steady calm. If peace is absent, something was off. This is not condemnation. It is feedback. Learn to trust it. Consent matters deeply, and not only with others. Consent with yourself is just as important. Do not force yourself into expression because you think you should. Do not force restraint because you think you must. Pressure in either direction leads to imbalance. True consent feels like ease. It feels like a clear yes or a clear no without internal conflict. Presence is what sanctifies experience. When you are present, the body relaxes. The nervous system settles. Awareness stays anchored. When presence is missing, even the most acceptable actions can become draining. Presence is the difference between nourishment and depletion. For partnered chosen ones, understand this clearly. Your connection is energetic before it is physical. If there is tension, resentment, or fear unspoken, the body will feel it. Do not use sex to avoid communication. Do not withhold it as punishment. Neither extreme is alignment. Sexual connection is meant to deepen safety and trust, not replace honesty. Move slowly when needed. Speak openly. Let intimacy be an extension of presence, not an escape from discomfort. When both partners are grounded, sexual energy becomes stabilizing and strengthening for both. When one is disconnected, imbalance spreads. For single chosen ones, this path requires special honesty. Singleness is not a punishment, and desire is not a flaw. You do not need to deny your body to prove worthiness. At the same time, you do not need to chase stimulation to feel alive. Balance here means self-respect. Learn the difference between loneliness and desire. Loneliness seeks replacement. Desire seeks circulation. If the urge arises from emptiness, pause. Ground yourself first. Breathe. Move your body. Return to presence. From that place, clarity will come. Acting from fullness feels different than acting from lack. Self-connection, when done consciously, can be grounding rather than draining. The same principles apply. Presence, respect, peace. If you feel scattered afterward, adjust. If you feel calm and embodied, you listened correctly. There is no shame in learning your own rhythm. Reconnecting to the body without guilt is a gradual process. Guilt was taught, not inherent. Be patient with yourself. You are unlearning generations of distortion. Speak kindly to your body. Touch it with awareness, not judgment. Notice sensation without labeling it as good or bad. This alone begins healing. Movement helps. Breath helps. Time in nature helps. The body softens when it feels safe. Safety invites flow. Flow restores balance. Nothing needs to be forced. Honoring God does not mean rejecting pleasure. It means not being ruled by it. It means living in stewardship rather than fear. Balance honors design. Denial mistrusts it. Indulgence abuses it. Wisdom walks between. God is not threatened by your embodiment. The divine is not fragile. God is present in breath, heartbeat, and vitality. When you live balanced, you are not moving away from God. You are expressing alignment with creation. Chosen one, your path is not about perfection. It is about coherence. When your inner world aligns, your outer life stabilizes. Sexual energy, when understood, becomes part of that coherence. Not something to obsess over, not something to avoid, simply something to respect. Let guidance be gentle. Let awareness lead. Let peace be your confirmation. You do not need to rush to fix anything. Understanding alone shifts energy. Integration happens over time. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are learning how to live whole in a world that taught fragmentation. That takes patience. That takes grace. Walk forward calmly. Your body knows the way when you listen without fear. Restoring wholeness, integration, not correction. Chosen one, before you step into the conclusion of this message, there is one more layer that must be settled within you. This layer is not about doing more. It is not about fixing yourself. It is about integration. Many of you approach growth as if something is broken. That belief alone creates tension. You are not broken. You are fragmented by conditioning, and fragmentation requires integration, not correction. Integration means allowing what was separated to come back into relationship. Spirit and body, discipline and softness, awareness and instinct. When these parts are allowed to coexist, conflict dissolves. When they are forced into hierarchy, imbalance grows. The chosen one does not ascend by rejecting parts of themselves. They ascend by bringing all parts into alignment. Much of your inner struggle did not come from desire itself, but from the inner war around it. Wanting something while judging yourself for wanting it. Feeling energy while fearing its expression. This internal contradiction drains more power than desire ever could. When inner conflict ends, energy returns. You must understand that the body remembers everything the mind tried to forget. Every suppression, every denial, Every time you ignored a signal to appear strong or spiritual, the body adapted. It tightened where it should have flowed. It numbed where it should have felt. Integration begins when you stop demanding and start listening. Listening does not mean obeying every impulse. It means allowing sensation without immediate reaction. It means staying present long enough to understand what the body is actually asking for. Often, what appears as sexual urge is a deeper need for grounding, connection, safety, or release of tension. When you respond wisely, the urge transforms instead of escalating. This is where many chosen ones regain power quietly. They stop reacting and start relating. They notice patterns without shame. They learn what drains them and what restores them. They stop copying external models and begin trusting internal intelligence. Integration also requires patience. Years of conditioning do not dissolve overnight. You may feel moments of clarity followed by confusion. That does not mean regression. It means layers are unfolding. Each layer asks for gentleness, not force. Force recreates the same control dynamic that caused fragmentation in the first place. Some of you carry grief you never named. Grief for lost intimacy. Grief for misunderstood desires. Grief for parts of yourself you abandoned to survive spiritually or socially. Let that grief be felt without turning it into a story of failure. Feeling is part of restoration. As integration deepens, you may notice subtle shifts. Your breath deepens without effort. Your posture softens. Your thoughts slow down. You feel more present in ordinary moments. These are signs of alignment returning. Nothing dramatic, nothing loud, just steadiness. You may also notice that your tolerance for chaos decreases. This is not judgment. It is discernment, sharpening. When your system becomes regulated, disorder feels uncomfortable. You will naturally move away from environments, habits, and dynamics that disrupt your balance. This is not avoidance, it is wisdom. Integration also changes how you relate to desire. Desire becomes information rather than command. You no longer fear it or worship it. You observe it. You decide. This restores choice. Choice is power. Compulsion thrives where choice is absent. Some chosen ones fear that integration will make them less spiritual, less disciplined, or less focused. The opposite is true. Integration makes discipline sustainable. It removes the inner resistance that made discipline exhausting. When inner parts agree, effort decreases. You will also find that shame loses its grip. Shame survives in secrecy and silence. When awareness replaces secrecy, shame dissolves. You no longer need to hide from yourself. When you stop hiding, energy returns. This is where confidence quietly rebuilds. Not confidence based on identity or performance, but confidence rooted in self-trust. You trust yourself because you listen. You trust yourself because you respond wisely. You trust yourself because you are no longer at war internally. Integration is not about becoming someone new. It is about returning to yourself before distortion, before fear taught you to split, before rules taught you to distrust sensation, before extremes convinced you balance was weakness. As this return happens, your nervous system stabilizes. Reactivity decreases. Presence increases. You respond instead of react. You pause instead of panic. This stability is deeply spiritual. It allows you to hold truth without collapsing or attacking. You may notice that your spiritual practices change naturally. You pray differently. You meditate differently. Not because you were told to, but because your body now participates instead of resisting. Practice becomes nourishment instead of obligation. This is also where many chosen ones reclaim joy without guilt. Joy not as excitement, but as quiet contentment. A sense that nothing is missing in this moment. That sense does not come from having everything. It comes from being integrated. Integration does not remove challenges. It changes how you meet them. Challenges become information instead of threats. You no longer abandon yourself under pressure. You stay present. Before moving into the conclusion, let this settle. You are not here to correct yourself into holiness. You are here to integrate into wholeness. Wholeness carries authority without force. Wholeness moves with calm power. Wholeness does not rush. This path is subtle. It does not impress the crowd, but it stabilizes the chosen one. And stability is what allows light to stay, not just appear. Hold this understanding gently as you move forward. The final words will not add more. They will seal what is already unfolding within you. Conclusion. The body is part of the mission. Chosen one, let this truth settle gently now. Your body is not separate from your calling. It is not a burden you carry while waiting for something higher. It is sacred ground. It is the place where spirit lives, moves, and expresses purpose. When the body is ignored, the mission suffers. When the body is honored, the mission stabilizes. Balance is divine intelligence in motion. It is not compromise. It is wisdom applied to life. Extremes fracture the vessel. Balance strengthens it. This is why your soul has always resisted rigid rules and reckless freedom. You were designed to walk the middle path with awareness. That path requires maturity, not fear. This message reached you at the correct time because you were ready to hear it without distortion. Earlier, it may have triggered confusion. Later, it may not have mattered. Now, it can integrate. Let understanding do its work quietly. There is no need to rush into action or make sudden changes. Reflection is more powerful than impulse. Observe yourself with honesty, not judgment. Notice where tension lives. Notice where ease returns. Let awareness guide adjustment naturally. Wisdom unfolds when pressure is removed. Walk forward without shame. Shame was never your teacher. Wisdom is. You are not correcting a mistake. You are refining alignment. Refinement is what chosen ones do as they grow into responsibility. Carry this understanding calmly. Let it inform your choices without becoming an obsession. Integration is subtle. It happens in how you breathe, how you rest, how you listen, how you move through the world. You were not called to deny your humanity. You were called to embody it consciously. When body, mind, and spirit move together, your presence becomes steady. Your light becomes usable. Your path becomes sustainable. Remain grounded. Remain aware. Walk forward whole.